as soon as we can.
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. I would like to thank the honourable member for Cumbernauld, Kilsyth and Kirkintilloch East. It'll be Cumberland from now on, I'm afraid. For bringing this important legislation forward. And I would like to thank all of the honourable members who have spoken on this important matter today, and I'll refer to those in a moment. I am pleased to confirm that the Government will support this bill. As a mother myself, I know exactly how incredible that moment is when your baby is born. A time which should be full of joy and excitement. It must be devastating to see your baby whisked away and in need of urgent medical care, yet feel unable to do anything about it except be there. I can only offer my full support to all those who have experienced this. That is why I'm pleased to be here today and pleased to have taken on this important portfolio. I am deeply committed to ensuring that the UK is the best place in the world to work and grow a business. We need a strong and flexible labour market which supports participation and economic growth. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my predecessor, the member for Sutton and Cheam, who is now... I'm sorry? Top man, yes, absolutely. Who is now a Minister of State at the Department of Levelling Up, Housing and Communities. I think you will agree that he was a committed and compassionate minister, and I am pleased to be following him and moving forward with this agenda, and I'll have to work very hard indeed to do it. Could I also thank the APPG for premature and sick babies, and most particularly the chair, the member for Glasgow East. I want to talk now about the bill that is before the House today. Neonatal care leave and pay will enable thousands of parents to care for and be with their children in neonatal care without worrying about whether their job is at risk. This bill has support across the House, and I am very pleased to see that today. Thank you very much to everybody. And this was obviously reflected in the debate. I would like to take the time to address some of the points raised by honourable members today, but first I would like to put on record why the Government is supporting this legislation. As the honourable member for Cumbernauld has explained to the House, in the UK, an estimated 100,000 babies are admitted to neonatal care every year following their birth for a range of medical reasons. The United Kingdom has a range of generous entitlements and protections designed to support parents to balance their family and work commitments and maintain their place in the labour market whilst raising their children. However, for parents in the worrying position of having their newborn admitted to neonatal care, it is clear that the current leave and pay entitlements do not provide adequate support. And I'd like to refer to something that my honourable friend, the member for Thornbury and Yate, raised in an adjournment debate that he had on the 9th of February 2022. And I'll just quote one bit, please, if you don't mind. So the current system is also a massive barrier for fathers and non-child-bearing parents in particular. Earlier this week, 75% of parents who responded to a survey from Bliss, the incredible charity, said that they or their partner went back to work before their baby was home from hospital. Some of those children will still have been on ventilation and receiving critical care. Previous research suggests that the most common reason for that is they simply cannot afford to take more time off work. That is happening every single day right around the country to families of premature and sick children. And I think that is why we're able to be here today and to come to an agreement, I think, here. The Government has previously consulted on this issue, and in March 2020, we committed to introducing a new entitlement to neonatal leave and pay. The Government is pleased to support this bill, which will bring that policy into effect. Now, to address some of the specific points made by colleagues in the debate. First of all, obviously, may I thank the member for Cumbernauld for bringing this forward. Thank you very much indeed. And the member indeed for Thornbury and Yate and his personal experience that he brought so emotionally and compassionately to the table, to the chamber. The member for Hartlepool talked particularly about fathers, and I absolutely support what she said about giving extra time to both parents to be there for their child. The member for Ayr and Carrick and Cumnock, sorry, my apologies, and I'll refer to some of the points you raised a little bit later on. And the member for Glasgow East, again with his personal and very moving experience. The member for West Ham, who mentioned a specific case. And the member for Watford, who volunteered in his own Watford hospital, a legacy for all here today. Hopefully we will provide. The member for Paisley and Renfrewshire North, with his personal experience and his reference to his children, who are clearly taking after their father. And thank you also on his behalf to Thomas and Steve, I think you said, who helped you, employers who helped both you and your wife, and did all they could to support you as members of staff. The member for Kensington, who referred to the bill being the right thing to do, and also pointed out that bonding time, and we must agree that that's a vital relationship for parents at that time. She also talked about good employers already doing the right thing and helping with newborn children. And this is a bill that is a floor, not a ceiling. And I'd like to be able to just make sure that everybody gets a good level of care, and then other businesses who are able to may be able to put on top of that, just as the member said. Many helpful and support. And the member for Newport West, I'll refer to her point a little bit later on. And Madam Deputy Speaker, who's now moved from her place, who talked about what happened to her and a stressful time that she had in more ways than one. And the member for Bristol East, who pointed out that often it's not only the only child in the family, and therefore that's to be considered, and the very many helpful and supportive interventions from all sides of the chamber. The member for Thornbury and Yate raised concerns about the length of time this would take for the bill to be implemented. There is a cross-party support clearly today from this bill, and we hope it completes its parliamentary passage and receives royal assent as swiftly as possible. Setting up a new leave and pay entitlement takes time. It requires secondary legislation, changes to government systems which administer statutory payments, and businesses need good notice in order to prepare. HMRC and commercial payroll providers require at least 18 months lead time to implement such changes following royal assent. I have spoken with my officials, however, this week, and we are looking at what we can do to speed this time up. So I have noted that the members for Glasgow East, the member for Charnwood and the member for Newport West have all asked for that request. Yes, of course.
Grateful to the Minister for giving way and grateful for the discussion she's having with officials in her own department, but will she undertake to also have a conversation with the Leader of the House and business managers to look at whether or not it might be possible to expedite it as we try and take it through the House side of things as well?
Thank you very much indeed. That's a good idea, and I'll certainly take that up. Thank you. The member for Thornbury and Yate also raised concerns about why the 7 full-day period of neonatal care is required before the entitlement is triggered. In response to this concern, I would flag that the policy is primarily intended to support parents of babies facing longer rather than shorter stays in hospital, and that the needs of the parents who are in this position must be balanced with those of their employer. When developing the approach, the responses from parents representatives groups and business representatives to the 2019 consultation on neonatal leave and pay were considered. Yes, of course.
Thank the Minister for giving away and the tone of her response so far, especially the point she's raised about being prepared to look at speeding up the implementation of the bill following royal assent. On this point, actually, it was a really small technical point, actually, that just says, I completely accept the 7 days. I think that's kind of widely in line with what everybody was expecting. What I wasn't expecting was, I know it's a small point, but it appears to be the day after birth will be the first of the 7, so it's essentially an 8th day. I think we don't need to deal with it today. I'm sure we can look at it in committee, but perhaps you can just commit to taking that away, talking to officials in Bays, and we can continue the conversation throughout the passage of the bill.
Thank you very much indeed for the intervention, and absolutely I will take that away. Thank you. The member for Ayr, Carrick and Cumnock referred to other family leave and pay entitlements that are available. So parents have access to a range of leave and pay entitlements in their child's first year, giving working families more choice and flexibility about who cares for their child and when. Our maternity leave entitlement is generous. To qualifying employed women, we offer 52 weeks of maternity leave, of which 39 are paid, which is more than 3 times the EU minimum requirement. For self-employed women and those who are not eligible for statutory maternity pay, maternity allowance may be available. Both of these maternity payments are designed to provide a measure of financial security to help women to stop working towards the end of their pregnancy and in the months after their childbirth, in the interests of their own and their baby's health and well-being. We also recognise that fathers and partners play a crucial role in the first year of their child's life, both through supporting the mother and developing a relationship with the child. Paternity leave arrangements enable employed fathers and partners who meet the qualifying conditions to take up to 2 weeks of paid leave within the first 8 weeks following the birth of their child or placement for adoption. We do, however, recognise that paternity leave can be improved, and so we made a manifesto commitment to make it easier for fathers and partners to take it. We will be announcing how we will be doing this in due course. Shared parental leave and pay provides parents with flexibility over their child's care in the first year. It challenges the assumption that the mother will always be the primary carer and enables working parents to share up to 50 weeks of leave and up to 37 weeks of pay in the first year of their child's life. This enables mothers who want to return to work early to do so and enables fathers and partners to be their child's primary carer if the parents wish. To help make shared parental leave more accessible, we launched a new online tool last year which allows parents to check their eligibility and plan their leave. We are currently evaluating the shared parental leave scheme and will publish further findings in due course. And the member for Bristol West Bristol East, I've changed your constituency, my apologies, queried the length of time it has taken to legislate to deliver this entitlement. In 2019, the Conservative Party manifesto committed to introducing neonatal care leave and pay. We consulted on the details of this entitlement and published a government response in 2020. During COVID, the government had to rightly prioritise our response to the pandemic. We are pleased that the neonatal care leave and pay entitlement is now being taken forward in legislation and fully support this bill. To conclude, these measures would provide invaluable... Yes, of course.
I thank the Minister for giving way. I wasn't intending on saying anything today, as this is particularly fresh for me and it's been quite a challenging few weeks. I'd firstly like to thank all my colleagues on these benches for the support that they provided to me and my family in that regard. But before she concludes, would she like to place on record her thanks and support for all the staff who work tirelessly up and down the neonatal units across these aisles for the miraculous work that they do to keep young people alive and to give them the good futures they deserve?
Absolutely, and I thank you very much indeed for that intervention. Absolutely spot on and correct, and I fully support everything that was said. Thank you for doing that. To conclude, these measures would provide invaluable support and protection for parents during some of the most stressful days of their lives when their children are in neonatal care. This entitlement is also backed by government evidence and analysis showing clear need for further support for these parents. Therefore, the government is pleased to support this private member's bill brought today. Supporting this bill is in line with our ongoing commitment to support workers and build a high-skilled, high-productivity, high-wage economy. It is good to see there is support from across the political spectrum in the House for this important measure, as is clear from the debate today. I look forward to continuing to work with the member for Cumbernauld to support the passage of these measures. Thank you.
Stuart C. MacDonald.
With leave of the House, thank you,